What's going on, everybody? Danny with Wire Fitness back with another video. And today I want to talk about the secret to gaining lean muscle mass, which should be the key ingredient in your personal training program or any training program you decide to run from here to the end of eternity, and that is progressive overload. Progressive overload is really the only way that you can efficiently gain lean muscle mass. There really is no other way to do it. And progressive overload is simply progressing workout to workout or week to week, however it's structured, getting a bigger training volume, increasing your work capacity, increasing the weight, whatever it is, week after week. There's four main ways to incorporate progressive overload into your training routine, and we'll go over those now. The first principle being your repetition. So say you do 135 pounds, your goal is to do 5 sets of 10 at 135 pounds on bench press. Let's say week 1 you get 2 sets of 10, and then you only get 9 reps, 8 reps, then 6 reps. Well, the next week, incorporating progressive overload, now you know your baseline. Now you try and get maybe 9, 8, 7, or you get 3 sets of 10, and then a set of 8 and a set of 7. And you work up until you can do 5 sets of 10. You progressively overload your muscles until you get that 5 sets of 10. Which leads us very perfectly into the second principle of progressive overload, which is just weight. So you do more weight this week than you did last week. That's very simple. And once you get to, let's use that same bench press example, once you get to that 5 sets of 10 on the bench press at 135 pounds, then you jump up to 145. So once you jump up to 145, you try to get 5 sets of 10. And let's say, again, you only do 10, 10, 9, 8, 6. Then you do the same sort of rep progression and progressively overload via the rep principle until you can do the weight principle. Those work hand in hand together. Now the next two you can use in limited fashion. One is form. I only recommend using the form fashion on isolation exercises because you don't want to be screwing around with your form on your major compound lifts, on squats, on deadlift, on bench. That's a really good way to get hurt. So if you're going to use the form, use it only on isolation. Say you're doing a single arm barbell or a bicep curl with a dumbbell, or you're doing, I like to do it on tricep rope pushdowns. So a perfect example, say I'm doing 3 sets of 12 on rope pushdowns with the rope apart, and I'm doing pushdowns. Let's say I can only get 9 reps with the rope apart, and then I have to press it together and go down. Well, next week, I'm going to try and get 10 with the rope apart and I'll progress like that, get 11, then get 12, then get the next set at 12, all the way until I can do 3 sets of 12 with the rope apart. That's the form portion. The fourth principle is range of motion, and I only advocate this for advanced lifters. If you're really trying to work on your 1 rep max or your 3 rep, your triple max, your double max, whatever it is, on the major compounds, particularly on squat, this is a really good one to do. It's tough to do range of motion on deadlift because everything's fixed. You can't really screw with everything. But on squats, say you want to work up to doing let's say for advanced, let's just say you want to work up doing 365 or 415 or 315 on a squat. 1 week, let's say you go down, you put more than your 1 rep max on the bar. You do more than you know you can do a full good range of motion rep doing, and you'll go down halfway. And then the next week, you go down a little farther, and the next week, down a little farther, and down a little farther, until after 3, 4, 5 weeks, you're able to do a full rep. That's the principle behind the range of motion portion. So again, the 4 principles of progressive overload, which is the only way to efficiently build lean muscle mass and pack on muscle where you want it. The 4 principles are repetition, weight, form on isolation, and then range of motion strictly for advanced lifters, power lifters, compound stuff. I encourage you to incorporate at least the first 2, at least repetition and weight progressive overload into your training program if it's not right now. If you don't have a training program, I've got one for free on the website, the Hardwire program, 100% free. You go on the website and get it for $0. It's got nutrition in there as well. It's got some really good stuff, and it incorporates and encourages the incorporation of progressive overload in that program. So you should pack on some really quality lean muscle doing that program. If you are an advanced lifter, I do encourage, not a lot of people do the range of motion. They just try to progressively overload the normal way, and in leaving that out, they're sacrificing some gains that could be made via strength. So I encourage you to incorporate all those in. Take a look at your training program. If you don't have one, again, take a look at the one on the Wire Fitness website. I'll put a link in the description below. And if you do like this video, I encourage you to give it a thumbs up, comment down below, tell me some experience with progressive overload or things you want to hear about in the future. As always, subscribe for more content, and I look forward to talking to you guys next time.